Thank you very much. Thank you, Tekis, they invited me here to have this nice opportunity to meet all of you. And also a very nice opportunity for me to see the blue sky in Finland for the first time probably this year. Usually when I come it's in the middle of winter, snowing or raining and whatnot. So this is great. Before I start, can I have a show of hands? Who is actually more interested in mobile games? Social games? 2. And how about web games like MMORPG? Well, there's a lot of those. And how about other digital media type of stuff? Well, there's even more of those. So. Okay. The reason I'm asking this is actually we did a report, what we call the Entertain China report. Actually, it covered all aspects of all the above that I mentioned. So I thought Skene would be more interesting in gaming, but I guess since a lot of people are interested in other stuff, I'll try to pick and choose what I'm going to talk about, and then I try to answer some of your questions, maybe during this seminar or afterward, and I'll be hanging around to do that. Unlike my previous speakers, I'm a little bit jet lagged, so I need my little cheat sheet here, and also make sure I can tell you the right numbers when there's a lot of numbers that we collect from the China market and show it to you. All right. Let's take a look at the China digital entertainment market. When you take a look at in year 2004, you can see there's not too many Chinese companies in the top 15 internet company in the world in China. But in year 2010, you can see Tencent. This is actually the largest social gaming platform in China. And then there's Baidu. Everybody know about them. They are the Google-like. They're actually dedicated for China. And then you have Alibaba. That is the e-commerce platform that is actually dominating the Chinese e-commerce market. I think the landscape also changed a little bit more nowadays, also with other internet company in China creeping up toward the top 15 in the world. And all these companies are basically just focusing in China, and they're not touching the rest of the world yet. So that's quite interesting. How they managed to do that? Just look at the number of internet users. As of recently, there's over 500 million of internet users in China. It should hit 800 million by end of 2015. The infrastructure is quite good. There's over 98% accessing the internet by broadband. Out of all these Chinese internet users, 66% of the internet users actually surf the net with their desktop as well as the mobile device. Almost 10% of them use the mobile phone to go online exclusively in mainland China. So for mobile internet users, I guess people really like those numbers, so I'm glad that I'm actually using the cheat sheets. There's 318 million recently, and by end of this year, it'll hit 480 million users. The number one sector in China that is growing real fast is still e-commerce. If you notice all the VC last year, last couple of years, they actually pour a lot of money into the e-commerce sectors. One of the reasons that the e-commerce sector is taking off in China is because it has a very, very cheap logistic infrastructure. Just for one example, I want to sidetrack a little bit. One time my friend actually ordered something on the internet in China, and he go online and check the status of the merchandise. Not only they find where the location of the merchandise is, they even find the mobile phone number of the courier actually going to deliver the merchandise to him. So what he do is just call the courier on a mobile phone and ask him when exactly he's going to deliver his product to his house. And he got an answer. And that is how far the e-commerce courier service go in China. And it's all done by manually, very, very cheap. So that's one of the things that actually propel the e-commerce business in China. Give you some number. On the first quarter this year, the revenue from e-commerce is actually hit 228 billion RMB. You divide by 6, around 6 you get US dollar. I think euro right now you probably divide by 8. So this number in one quarter is actually very, very big. However, because all these products are mostly commodity, it's actually a very, very cutthroat business. The margin is so low, sometimes it's in a few percent. So there are company, actually I know one of my friend, they actually recently listed. It's called VIP Shop. They're based in Guangzhou. I think their revenue on a daily basis is over 100. Let me see. Actually, over 1 million euro a day in turnover. But the profit margin is very low. The stock went up, listed, and then came down quite a bit, like the rest of them. Very, very tough market to get into, but it's still growing very, very fast. Social network continue to grow very fast. Blogging is huge in China. Even instant messages is actually growing a lot faster nowadays because of Tencent with its new Weixin, in English called WeChat product. The sector that is growing slowly, music, games, and video. That grows in the teens. They're still growing. Online video, I think you probably heard about it, is actually another very cutthroat business in mainland China. There's a lot of free online streaming in mainland China. The two largest actually merge. That is Youku and Tudou. And they have to, right now is in a consolidation stage in this, because the content price just went off the roof in the recent couple of years. So if you're looking at one of the ways to look in the China market is if you have very interesting international content, cheap, everybody's looking for it. So that's one hint for you guys. Microblogging penetration actually reached 13.8% by the time we did this report. The largest being the Sina Weibo, that is actually the Twitter's equivalent in China, with over 300 million users. In addition to that, they actually have over 130,000 companies open their account on Weibo to do digital marketing and branding. Group buying penetration is only 4%, but a lot of players are actually getting into the market in that aspect as well. China gaming is more numbers again. The largest one is still being the online game, MMORPG. Just before you get really interested, it's dominated actually, other than the few very unique international games like World of Warcraft and StarCraft, etc. It's really dominated by local MMORPG games with local contents like the Three Kingdoms and whatnot. It's very different than the international market. There's a lot of competition in this arena. Basically, many companies use the same MMORPG engine, just retheme, reskin it with different storyline and push it onto the market. They attract users by using a lot of marketing budget, doing different things. It's a huge market, so people do gamble a lot in this market. In fact, a lot of companies moving into this market again. Web game is also growing fast in China. Social game actually have been growing quite fast over the last couple of years. However, it sort of hit us, sort of trying to hit the wall for the last little while, just like on Facebook. But I'll tell you a little bit more after this, the next few slides. Those are some of the key players in China in gaming. Sender and the Nine, mainly focusing on online games and web games, MMORPG among them. In fact, the Nine actually become a listed company because they are the sole exclusive licensing operator and distributor for WoW a few years ago. Now they have a lot of money still in the bank, but they're actually lacking behind against all the other big gamers in mainland China. Tencent, that is actually one of the biggest, it didn't say Tencent over there, it said QQ. QQ is one of 4 platforms for Tencent in mainland China. It is actually one of the world-class online game developer and operator, and it pretty well dominated the China market. And I will tell you a little bit more about Tencent a little bit later. In terms of social game, like you see on the chart, there are mainly 4 or 5 major players. Qzone, that is Tencent, 51.com, and then Ren, that is actually listed on Nasdaq a while ago and also take a hit recently. Kaixin 01, and then right now they have game actually launched alongside of Sina Weibo. Actually, it's more like a Twitter's platform. However, you look at the picture, Tencent is actually still dominating the market. Unlike the rest of the world, like for example, if you launch a game on Facebook, they have a standard split, for example, between say Facebook and Singer, 30 to the platform, 70 go to Singer. On the bottom of the slide, you can see Tencent actually charge a lot more. At the end of the day, the effective split for the platform is something like 70 to 80%. They charge something called the channel fee, 40%. What it is actually they have something called the Q dollar. It's more like a game card that you can buy from convenience store, and they have to pay the channels to actually distribute those game cards, and that's why some of those money actually go to the channels for this distribution. And then based on the performance of the game, they probably take the rest of them half and half between you and them. The better your game performs, the more you get. A similar model as Tencent. Similar model as Ren, except Ren charge a little bit less. But a little bit more on social gaming. If those, I think, not too many people on social gaming, but just quickly touch because you will be facing a lot more competition. Many of the social game developers in China claim that doing social game cannot generate profit. That's really true in one way if you are stuck in China. And I can explain a little bit more when I talk about Tencent a little bit later. And a lot of them, including the major player that with hundreds of programmers, they are actually switching some of the resources to do web game to compete with the big guys like the Nine, the Senders, and the Tencent. And then they also put more resources onto mobile, and hopefully that will get them international. But if you take a look at the historical study, that's not here, the success of Chinese company internationally is actually very, very, very low. On the Facebook platform, if you see there's hardly any Chinese developer that is in the top 10 or top 20. If they do, the major player is not in the US, not in the high output area, or they're launching Chinese title, catering for the Chinese player internationally, or they're launching the game in like Latin America or Southeast Asia, that they have millions of users, but the ARPU is very low. They're not really competing against the big boys like Digital Chocolate in the US and European platform yet. There's many reasons for that. First of all, they don't really know how to do proper localization. Secondly, the gameplay in China is very different than the gameplay internationally. However, even for international company going to China, other than the major titles, they are not successful either. So that can tell you the game culture is very different between China and the rest of the world. For people who want to actually launch the game in China, they have to work with a Chinese partner to localize it properly, so that they can actually have a chance to win in China. The key players in social network is here is Pengyo. That is actually another QQ platform. Tencent, QQ.com is also belong to Tencent. And then the Renren, Weibo, and then Kaixin01 and 51.com. It's interesting that actually Weibo also launched a social gaming platform. However, it's not doing well. It's not doing well. In fact, the only platform, gaming platform on the social front that is still doing well is Tencent. In terms of mobile game, you also have a different split in China. In China, you probably don't have pay download. If you want to see how effective you get paid, you can check with your friends from Rovio. Just ask them, out of the millions, the 10 millions downloaded they have for Angry Birds Space, how many paid download they actually get from China, then you know that market is not for it. However, people do pay for virtual goods and tools and stuff like that, whether legally or illegally. So legally, you buy your games from the App Store, from Android market, but most of the iPhone in China is already jailbreak. So they have different mobile platform that actually offering services for jailbreak version of the games. So you do have to work with them so that they can actually, the user can actually buy your virtual goods through this 100 or more type of platform to get paid. So in other words, you will have to work with a Chinese distributor or platform to have your mobile game to run in China to be effective. What Rovio do is very different. They probably just use this thing for advertising because they're launching all kinds of licensing store and stuff like that for promotion. So another suggestion for you guys is maybe you do want to work with Rovio, maybe if they're interested to launch a game with them. Last time I heard, they mentioned something but nothing in concrete. So there could be a possibility for game developer to work with Rovio to leverage their user base. Mobile game distribution and earning. I think this actually is similar to the rest of the world. In China, there's a little bit more because the mobile operators still have their play. Not as strong as before, but they still do. Yeah, out of all this model right now, it falls let's say the international popular games like World of Warcraft, they still command a very hefty monthly payment. They can still collect it through the distributor in China. But still like what the Packer and Packer said, I think free-to-play, pay for virtual goods, freemium game is actually the way to go right now. In fact, I think the freemium game is actually started out in China first, and then start moving to the rest of the world and become popular. Another thing I want to mention is actually the in-game advertising. we've been talking, I think the developer has been talking about this for quite a while. However, it's still not quite there yet. So I'm not sure the reason why, or the gaming company is not working actively with brand, or the brands are not working actively with the gaming company. But in my opinion, it could be an opportunity for you guys to look into to make it happen. So it'll be some sustained revenue for the game developers. Interesting picture. This is China Joy 2012. I was there a couple of months ago. What have you mentioned before? This kind of event in China is more of a business to consumer, not business to business. As you can see on the top left figure, this is actually how many people attend in one corner of the exhibition. There's about 5 or 6 halls the size of this, and this is only one corner. It's huge. It's packed with people, especially many young men, because as you can see, there's a lot of pretty girls dressing up. On the right hand side, there's actually offering from Tencent. They are very pretty girl model actually from every single developer, and try to promote the game during the China Joy show and to attract all the young people, and the girls just stand there and either dance, walk around, and allow all the people to take pictures. It's hot. I don't know how people can stand it. So the people also dress up quite a bit. Another trend is actually merging the social network with e-commerce. So, and also group purchase. There's actually a trend going into this. But let me want to talk to you about Tencent. If you want to go to the market, you have to know about Tencent. Tencent actually, with 2 of the platforms that I saw on the pie chart, the social media site, QQ is Tencent, QSO is Tencent. So 66% of people actually on the Tencent platform. And if it's gaming, then you're looking at Tencent and Renren. Then the occupation is even higher. Even Sino Weibo want to get into this arena, they're not being successful. But let me give you some numbers. The annual revenue for Tencent is around, forecast for this year, is around 42 billion RMB, which is around 6.7 billion US dollar. Facebook is forecast to have 5. Tencent indicated to us they have 50,000 third-party developers for gaming applications. Count 5 and 40, 50,000 of them in China. Tencent is dominating, if not monopolizing, the entire market. For example, if you launch a game, a successful game in Tencent, and then a successful game in Renren, 1 day of revenue in Tencent is equivalent to 1 month of revenue on Renren for the developers. And other things that you have to look at, all in China on this social platform, you don't just buy advertising to promote your game. Tencent actually give it to you if your game is worthwhile. So you have to have good relationship with them. So is Renren. You don't buy advertising. That's why if you look at all the top games on Tencent, they all are invested by Tencent themselves or going to be invested by Tencent. Otherwise, you're not there. So this is the reality of launching games in China. It is very, very tough. Some of the finished opportunity very quickly. I would say bringing international content, your expertise, your branding, whatever that is lacking in China, into China is one of the play. And as I mentioned, there's actually 50,000 developers to fight for the top 10 spot, or top 20 spot on Tencent. That means there's 4,900 49,980 company looking to get out of China. If you can find good games or good property or good solution that you can bring international, that is the opportunity for you. Well, this one I'm not going to explain. If you want to look at this, you can click the link and get the image and actually show the social media landscape in China. Okay, thank you very much.